Average Woodsman here, back with another video. So most people think that their survival kit is ready for the woods until it actually gets tested. So today I'm going to talk about the top 5 mistakes that people make when they're building a survival kit. I'll go over a couple of survival kits that I have with me. I'll show you guys what to do, what not to do. I'll break everything down, go kind of point by point, and just kind of give you guys a really good idea of some things that can really cost you when you're building a survival kit. So let's go ahead and get into the video. All right, so here I have a couple of survival kits kind of laid out, some different sizes that you might have. You know, more of a day pack, maybe something you keep in your vehicle as a get home bag. Something more like a beefy pocket organizer that you might throw in a larger container, maybe keep in your truck or your canoe, boat. Something even more pocket size that you can literally just throw in a back pocket, a cargo pocket, something like that. So these are some of the sizes that you might have when you're building a survival kit. So in today's video, I'm gonna break down the top 5 mistakes that people make when building a survival kit, and more importantly, how you can avoid, making those mistakes. So I know that I've tested, countless survival kits over the years. I have a ton of videos. I have an entire playlist on my channel of just breaking down and building survival kits, showing different types of gear, how to put them together, and everything from ultralight, pocket tins to full-size, bushcraft and survival kits, and I'm going to talk about some of the mistakes that I've seen with most of them, or when people make mistakes, generally speaking. All right, so for me, and this is why it's number one, the number one mistake that people make is packing gear that they don't know how to use. This is a common problem that I see, where people throw a bunch of tools and gear and things like that into their kit that they've never touched. Some of them have never even been opened, and they think that the gear alone is going to be enough to save them in an emergency. So we're talking about ferro rods that have never been used, that people don't even know how to correctly use. And I have videos on how to correctly use a ferro rod, using man-made tender, using natural tender, how to find and utilize natural tender in your environment. Things like water filters, water purification tablets, tourniquets with zero training, knives that have never been used, that people don't understand the safety aspect. They don't understand how to actually correctly use the knife when they're out in the field. These are all issues that people need to focus on when it comes to packing your gear. If it's in your kit, you should already know how to use it in any type of weather, in any type of situation, in any type of environment. I'll put a link down in the description to all the playlists that I have on these items. One thing that I want you guys to do is check out that playlist, because I have videos on fire in the rain, how to build shelters, how to use these tools correctly, ferro rods and such, how to build a fire. If you guys go back and watch those videos, you can practice with the items that you're keeping in your kit, so you don't make that mistake and go out in the woods with gear that you've never used. Average Woodsman here. Just wanted to basically add on to this as I'm editing. Being able to make a fire and confidently use your tools is the foundation of staying alive in the woods. Fire keeps you warm, dry, purifies water, cooks food, and boosts morale. Your tools, knife, saw, axe, let you build shelter, process wood, and solve problems when conditions get tough. When you master both, the woods stop being a threat and start becoming manageable. So enjoy yourself when you're outdoors. All right, so number 2, something that I see quite frequently: no redundancy in critical categories. So things like fire, water, shelter, cutting tools. One is not enough. The old saying, two is one is none, is honestly really important when it comes to building a survival kit. Only carrying one lighter or one way to start fire. So make sure you have a lighter, maybe in your pocket. Have maybe some stormproof matches also, or a ferro rod. Have multiple ways for fire. Have multiple ways to disinfect water. So for example, have something like a Grail water bottle so you can disinfect your water, and then have some sort of a metal container where you could boil your water if you need to, and carry water over distance. You need to have multiple or redundant items when it comes to building your kit. So something like a backup knife, or maybe you're going to carry a larger blade on your kit, or a machete or an axe, and you'll have a belt knife or a folding knife on you for finer carving. Two sources for fire, two ways to purify or disinfect water, a backup cutting tool, emergency shelter items, even when you're on a day hike. The third mistake that I see all the time: overpacking or underpacking. So I'm talking about either the kit is way too heavy, so heavy you're never going to carry it, especially over distance, or it's so minimalist it's almost useless, especially since the vast majority of people don't have the skill set to go out in the woods with basic tools and basic gear and survive off the landscape. It's just not realistic for the vast majority of people. So you need to keep it within the realm of realism and in the real world, so you don't run into an issue where you have either too little or too much where you're not going to actually carry it. So backpack stuffed with unnecessary gear, that's maybe strictly for comfort, to the point where you have so much gear that your pack went from weighing what it should weigh, a small percentage of your body weight, up to a 40 or 50 or 60 pound pack that you're never going to carry over distance. Or just a pocket 10 that you're just keeping in your pocket and you have no kit. So if you have something like a pocket kit, something like this is a supplemental kit for your full actual pack, whether that be a day pack, a get home bag, whatever. Kit's too heavy for the real fitness levels is just not going to work for the vast majority of people. The vast majority of people are not going to be able to carry a really heavy pack over long distance. So think about it like this: the best survival kit is the one that you actually carry. Keep it realistic. Different types of categories, like maybe your EDC, so a small pocket survival kit, something like a multi-tool or a belt knife. You can even carry something like a belt pouch, or have a survival kit in your larger main pack, like your day pack. Just keep it realistic. All right, so mistake 4, ignoring water and shelter in favor of cooler gear or more flashy gear, or stuff that you see or have bought on places like Amazon and such like that, because you saw, this survival kit has 120 pieces and it's $30, and it has a 4.6 or whatever on Amazon. People obsess over the gear, especially like knives, ferro rods, different types of gadgets, but ignore the things that most likely will kill you. So like hypothermia, dehydration, especially here in Florida, dehydration and hyperthermia. And remember, I'm not telling you to not have tools. My kits are all tool heavy, but you have to remember that I do this on a regular basis. I teach this. I live this type of lifestyle. So if I went into the woods with a tool heavy kit, I'm going to be able to do the things that I need out in the woods, off the landscape, shelter, water, fire, things like that. But that's based on my skill set. So you need to build your kit around your skill set and not focus on gadgets and things like that you're not actually going to use. For instance, not carrying a tarp or an emergency space blanket or an emergency bivvy, not having a metal container to boil water, not having water purification tablets or some sort of water filter, insulative layers if you live up north, or if it's the winter months out of the year. You need to be able to have the items that are going to work for you in your area. One last thing that I see a lot with this one, before I go on to mistake 5, is people tend to obsess over food. And yes, food is important in the long term, but you can go weeks without food. Yes, you'll be uncomfortable. Yes, you'll be weaker. Yes, you're not going to be having a good time, but you will literally die within a couple of days, especially if you're in a hot environment, without water. You will die of dehydration. Same when it comes to really cold or really hot environments. So make sure that you have gear that is appropriate for your area, and don't obsess over things like food and gimmicky items that you're not actually ever going to use. I'm not saying you won't eat your food, you will, but if you're in a situation where dehydration is a risk and you start eating a bunch of food, that's not going to aid you in your survivability. If anything, it's going to cause you even more issues. Mistake number 5, not testing the kit in real conditions. So this is why I harp on going out in the woods and putting in the dirt time. People, they build their kits indoors on a table under perfect conditions. They film videos of unboxings. They never do any type of field testing, and I'm not trying to call anyone out. I'm not saying anyone specifically, but you need to go out and start a fire in the woods using man-made tinder and using natural tinder. Practice with your ferro rod. Build shelters using your kit items, so know how to use whatever tarp you're going to be using or whatever cover element. Make sure that you go out and you practice boiling water with the fire that you just started. Even, if you really want to go out there, go out and do a 24-hour challenge on yourself. Go out and use your kit. Stay overnight in the woods. That way you can replace or upgrade gear that fails or doesn't work, or you can take gear out that you're not actually going to use and that you didn't use. You need to focus on what specifically works for you. So if you know that you're not going to use a specific item, don't carry that item with you. All right, guys, so that's the video. If you guys want me to do more breakdowns like this, or talk more about survival kits and such, I have a whole survival kit playlist. Like I said, I'll put below, where I have videos on all these kits, all the different items that I have. Remember to like, subscribe, share these videos with your friends and family. Be safe, stay dangerous, and I'll catch you in the next one.